from the shoes slowly abate. When does your respirator turn down? 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 Doppler, Nazis. Your respirator, when does it turn on? Your respirator, when was it turned on?
They're in.
It's the first time reading chat, y'all. It's the first time reading chat, y'all. Fill out your books, fill out your books, y'all. It's the first time reading chat, y'all.
And welcome to the Leafcast, a first-time reader show based on the epic fantasy series Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. My name is Ryan. Joining me as always, my brother Dan.
Ooh la la.
The one with the brows. Yes, we are here talking about Gathering Storms. We're going to be covering chapters 10 through 13, and this is episode 178.
Lies.
Little programming reminder, next week is voting day. We will not be live streaming, as we will all be biting our nails to the quick. Maybe we should jump into Discord and just commiserate or celebrate. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe we will do that.
Yeah, but we'll see. Yeah, but until then, you know, we got our special guests, our first-time readers. Let's bring those bad boys in. And they lived happily ever after, maybe?
Hey,
Oh.
everybody.
To be determined.
Hey, guys. Welcome, Josh. Welcome, Carrie. Case and I, if you read in the chat, is under the weather and she will not be joining us. So all the yellow heart vibes go out to her. But our two other readers are here, and I hope that you guys are feeling good. Feeling up to this?
Yeah, I mean, the last chapter was a little bit rough, but we got through it.
Oh, you guys with your Gowan. Oh, I thought that was the best chapter.
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh, gosh.
I hate Gowan so much.
He oh,
I
man,
hate
he
him.
is
I
the
hate him as
greatest.
much as Mistress Dovey hates Perrin.
It's funny because I see a lot of Gowan in you, Josh.
Yeah, I was gonna say you kind of have a Gowan essence to you, which is
Really?
like the best thing ever.
Okay.
Seriously, like when Rand fell off the wall in the garden
Mm-hmm.
and Elaine first met him, who
Mhm.
saved Rand from getting thrown into the prison cells?
Gowan.
Owen.
Yeah.
Who saved Swan Chanche from certain execution?
Gowan.
Owen.
It's true.
And in
Not
these
disagreeing.
chapters, beats the
You
shit
have a
out of two
point.
orders, one of them a blade master.
I mean, he's a badass. I'll give him that.
Is he ever gonna find out that his mom is still alive? Like, come on! Like, oh my gosh!
You know what? Rumors run rampant in this time, and they're far away from reliable internet access. They only get like Breitbart out there.
Right?
Breitbart?
Yeah, so it's not very reliable.
And 4chan?
4chan.
It's 7chan back then, right? But-
Yeah. I remember when it was just Chan. Chan.com.
Chan.com.
And we were respectable.
It was a tight-knit community.
We kept our blatant racist, misogynist homophobia to ourselves.
All right, speaking of tight-knit community, let's say hello to everyone in chat. It's good to see Moonshadow's back.
Moonshadow.
This is a Case I's YouTube channel, The Whole Rabbit.
Okay.
Isle Roof Mistress, Uber Spearman, all the regulars, Glenn,
All my
Whataholic.
friends.
We have Patrick saying, me, you remind me of Gowan. Also me. Punched. See, this is, we're here to change hearts and minds one puppet at a time. And I'm doing it, man. We're going to milk that chapter. In fact, let's get through these other 3 stupid chapters so we can get to the Gowan.
So we can milk the
Hey.
Gowan chapter.
Yeah. We're doing chapters 10 through 13 of Gathering Storm. Chapter 10 is called The Last of the Tabac. And it is Rodell Eldorado. Rodell's sitting there just smoking bowls with his friend Rajabi.
Rajabi.
And he brought out the Kron. He's like, I only have one little nugget left. I've been saving this for months. But based on the circumstances, this is probably the best chance I'm going to have to get a little high and just kind of relax. So he smokes the last of his 2 rivers tobacco. So good. Rajabi's like, yes.
How come Rand didn't bring him more? Like, he could have easily gotten some and brought it back to him as a peace offering, you know?
You know what? I don't think Yildiralde knew the leg he was standing on in this thing. But yeah, I think he certainly should have thrown that in his rider, part of his. All right, I'll tell you
Negotiations, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Rand could
you
have traveled back home, got some, and then say, here you go. I want you to join my army. But
Yeah.
here's,
Can we,
you know,
can
some
we
more...
swing by the 2 rivers like on the way to Saladar?
well, Rodell's canal channel, so who knows? He might be stocking up.
Yeah. So Rodell, he's smoking balls with his boy. His boy's like, hey, what are we doing? Rodell's like, I'm not really sure. It turns out they're in a hut.
A hut.
That's in an abandoned steading. We get some numbers. The Shanchin army, the new Shanchin army, and they beat the old Shanchin army. And if we remember numbers right, Rodell had 100,000 or so. That
Mhm.
Shanshan army had 300,000. He knocked him down, but lost about half his troops. He only has 40,000 left.
40,000.
Here comes another 300,000, and these people are like more careful and more like ready to enact some Shanshan justice and kick their ass. So they're hanging out in this steading. I do
Which
have a
is
Taishar.
brilliant.
Oh,
Which is brilliant. It's just brilliant that he chose a steading.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of,
It is. Yeah, that's cool.
and it is, I wonder if like the average soldier would know that that you can't channel there. Rodell certainly doesn't know it besides experience. He doesn't feel any different.
So I have a dumb question.
No
Does
questions.
does an average human even know what a steading is? Like, how do they know what's a steading and what's not?
Well, I think Rand and Matt in the Two Rivers had never even really heard of Ogier.
Well, they'd heard of them, but they didn't believe. They'd heard of them from Jane Farstrider, but they
right.
didn't
But
believe.
when they first saw Loyal, he thought there was a Trolloc. He had no idea.
Yeah.
I think most people don't know a whole lot, but the closer you
I
get
think
to
it
the big
depends
cities,
on where
the
you're
more
from.
there are.
I think Rodell, being from the borderlands.
Is he like
probably-
well traveled and he just
No, but I
knows
think
a
that
lot
the
of stuff?
Borderlanders have more knowledge of the arcane than the average country person. But people who live in Tarvalon obviously know about the Ogier because the stonemasons, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, would they know that a steading is a place where you can't channel? That's like some Age of Legends shit. I don't know. I feel like less people know about that probably. Aes Sedai clearly do. People who use the One Power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, real quickly, Matt Stagger is not feeling well. He had a treatment today, so he's just coming by to say hello. Let's all give him our T's and P's.
Oh, my man, all the T's and P's.
All right, he wants a J-Con Bella before he goes. All right, love you, Matt.
Yeah, take care, brother. Sleep well. Maybe he'll come back for the Gawain chapter.
His favorite.
I do have a Taishar. This one's a stretch, but let me know. Quote, 6 times the size of his own.
All right, I'll give it to you.
Sure.
Okay.
That works.
He was like, he tells his boy, what's his name? Rajabi. He's like, hey, have you ever seen a juggler? Like a really good juggler? I saw this bard once in Camelin, and he tells the story of a bard that was juggling 10 balls, and then they threw another one out, and it turned into like this whole explosion. You look over, and the bard's over just flirting with the lady way in the corner. What magic? But he's trying to make a point. His friend's a little too high to even get it. So it says, poor Rajabi looked completely dumbfounded. He liked his answers neat and straightforward. He's like, well, but that's what he says. He's like, you know what? We're going to stay here. We can't really run anywhere. The Shanshan are too good. They're too good. They know where we're at. They know how big we are. We'll stay here. At least it'll minimize the channeling. We can use these trees around as some, like, I don't know, put some archers up there and shoot down at them. We're going to cut down a bunch of these trees, which really sucks. But, you know, guys got to do what guys do. He said he had a few days here before the Shanshan hit him. If he could dig in well, he could put up some sort of fight. I have another Taishar. This one is such a stretch, and I'm very fond of it. Quote, one-eyed whack. One-eyed whack.
One-eyed whack.
It's not One-Eyed Willie.
Well,
Oh, I like that. Yay!
It says most of the officers arrived before the stranger, lanky and carrot, one-eyed Wakita. But one-eyed whack sounds pretty
Oh,
good, right?
okay. No, I'm taking that back.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This was the most clever one I could find. One-eyed whack? All right,
One-eyed-
that's...
One-eyed whack Gita actually is better.
I don't...
Yeah. I mean, if you know, bring in the Dominican
How many do
Republic.
you have, Brian? Are you just the arbiter that, like... Oh my God. Maybe that should be the only... And maybe we'll close the poll one time. But ask if, quote, one-eyed whack, W-A-K, is a Taishar or not. I was proud of it. There's not a lot of them in these books.
All right, I'm on it.
He's like, yeah, we're gonna stay here. And they say,
He
hey,
said-
guess what?
Oh, he said, this is how he worded it. He said, if you're going to die, do so with dignity.
And high as a kite.
Well, no, they're not coming for 3 days, so it's like out of your system totally.
They know that they're dead meat, right? I mean,
That's
can't
what
learn
everyone said.
more.
They're like, dude, what
Yeah.
are you talking about? And so Rand shows up. They're like, there's a visitor. It's Rand. Rand's like, you're dead meat if you stay here. He's like, you're the
he
Dragon
didn't
Reaper.
even know. He didn't even know if he believed in the Dragon Reborn, like that the
Mhm.
Dragon Reborn was reborn, and I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, it just shows you how slow information moves in this place, you know?
Yeah.
Okay,
He
what
had
is,
heard, yeah. He said they said that most reports say that he was a young man with red hair, but there's some reports that he's 10 feet tall and breathes fire and all that shit. Yeah, and it says Elrond didn't know if he believed that the dragon had been reborn in the first place. He's like, yeah, I'm not here to argue. I am here. You stop fighting the Shansha. Stop it. I need them. And I need your army. We're going places, son. We're leaving.
so
he's like,
what is the small wrinkled piece of paper that his tobacco pouch is holding down?
Ooh.
well, don't we learn that?
I think we do, but now I forget.
It was Rand even mentions it. There's the it's like a letter from the king.
Oh, right. It's the orders from the king.
And he says, don't let me down. Keep fighting to the last man. And he's like, well, yeah, okay, I guess I'm going to do that.
All right,
But Rand's like, yeah, Grendel probably wrote that shit.
IORAL Roof Mistress has a question. Can channeled 4 waves or lightning can strike into a steading? Do the weaves disperse? I guess she's asking if someone is outside of the steading shooting lightning down onto the steading, do they disperse?
Is it like a dome of protection?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's what
like
I'm
fireballs.
envisioning, like a dome.
that's a really good question. Could you like use a can you use the one power to like throw shit into the steading? Like if you threw a rock in there. Oh.
Maybe it would hit some invisible force, like, and just stop. I would think.
I mean,
Yeah,
this is
but a
where I
rock-
go
yeah.
to, like, this is where I go to like the game rules and like, no, it goes on the stack and the effect doesn't happen because it fizzles because, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
power is blocked. But I don't know. I mean, it
Yeah.
sure would make sense if the lightning would go in, but I'd like to believe otherwise. But again, this is going to be just one of these unexplained points of the world's not built that
Well,
well.
we're not sure. It may come up.
And speaking about coming up, we have some Taishars from Chad, Noman Gardens. The Terrabonners won't come,
Okay. Yeah.
and we'll do it alone. We have before.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I have
Right.
one here. It's quote. He was fit, lean, and hard, though it was difficult to tell with the coat on.
Okay, nice.
Nice.
All right, we're digging that. We're mining gold here.
He's like, hey, I can prove I'm the dragon. Come out here. Let's go see. He shows him a gateway. But before that, it's oh no, it says
He felt a disturbance in the forest.
well, kind of, yeah. There seemed to be a force about Althor drawing Iltarabe in, demanding that he do as he asked.
Tavernus.
Is that
Yeah.
Tavernus?
Like,
Or just really good charisma?
Tavernus.
it's like Tavernus on steroids. It's like the most I've ever seen it happen, like described.
Yeah.
Before it was very subtle, and now it's like in your face. Oh my god, I'll do whatever you say. You want me to do that? Okay, I'm gonna drop everything and go run away and do what you want. It was just so weird. Like he was being brainwashed.
And it was cool that how he could identify it even. He's like, there's this some sort of force, like only Rodell would be able to pick up on that, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's like, I feel weird. I feel something pulling at me.
Yeah, and I get why you like this guy, Ryan. I mean, he is like Gareth Bryn. He's got this. He's like the opposite of witless. He's witted.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Witful. I don't exactly know what the right term is for what I'm thinking, but it's like he has his wits about him, and he's got a sense of looking at the world that is both seasoned and capable.
Yeah, he's
mindful and demure
and adaptable.
But and again, I compare him to the Shanshan captain who rescues the Daughter of the Nine Moons. Yeah, like a similar kind of vibe, right?
What were you going to say, Carrie?
Yeah, what was I gonna say?
I think it was about the Paul
thought.
and Rodell.
I got sidetracked because one of my buddies just came in. I just want to say hi really quick. Hi, Tavern.
Hey there, Tavern.
Okay. Oh, I was going to ask a question. Where did we first, for all the experts out there that have read the book several times, where did we first meet Rodell in the series? Was it one book ago? Was it several books ago? Did he have like a little snippet here and there and we didn't really know who he was back then? Or was it recently that we first learned about this character?
We've heard his name for a while. I think we saw him. So he is from Aradomin. I don't know if we saw him in the first few books. I want to say maybe like book 6 or 7, but I'm not entirely sure.
That's right.
Breaker said it was in Game of Thrones, Chapter 1.
Game of Thrones.
Because I mean, like, it seems like he's turning into a very important character here, and there's a lot of focus. Like more and more, we're getting more and more POVs with him, and I'm just like, I wonder what this means,
Okay. Yeah, everyone's saying it's, and I was just kidding. Crossroads of Twilight. And I said this prologue.
Everybody's favorite
double-digit book, methinks. But we did hear of him as a
great captain.
As a great captain, he was listed as one of them, I believe.
Yeah.
So he brings him out, and he's like, "Hey, Rodell. Hey, listen. So your king is fucking mad. So I'm gonna have you be the king." Right. And Rodell's like, "Oh, I got a king." He's like, "Your king's dead, but I guess there's a chance that your king might not be dead. He might just be crazy. I don't know. How about if I just give you Amadesia instead? Would that work? I could use you there." And he's like, "Well, yeah, I guess if the job's available." He's suddenly Rand's just like handing out countries. And he's like, go ahead.
Before that, he's like, yeah, your king might still be alive. I think Grendel has him, and he's like talking about the Forsaken so casually. He's like, what the hell is going on? Like,
Right.
Forsaken? They exist? Like, you speak of one of the Forsaken as if you've had her as a dinner guest.
Yeah.
Right. And he ends up saying, I remember them better than I do my own childhood.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. He's like, oh, also, what would you do if I gave you like 100 guys who could channel? Could you use that? You can use them pretty well. And he's like, yeah, I could probably use them pretty well. Are they crazy? He's like, nah, most are pretty stable. Nah. You should
And
be
he's
fine.
like, yeah, I cleaned the tank. It was no big deal.
Yeah. So no, they're good now. I mean, whatever crazy they had, they still have. But yeah, no, like worse crazy, right? Here's a gateway. He's like, I can take you guys anywhere. I can take. We can take cartloads of shit anywhere. He's like, he says, all right. Here's the deal. He makes. He's like, we're making peace with them. You're not gonna fight them. He says, I will see the Shanshin out of Eridomen. I promise you this. In exchange, you go to the Borderlands and protect that against an invasion there. Hold back the Trollocs if they come, and lend me some of your officers to obscure Eridomen, because it helps fool the people if we have a couple familiar faces around, right? Instead of all these Aiel. He's like, I'll let you use some Aiel too. And they spit in their hands, they shake, they say salud. And it says, all right, go break camp. You'll be in Saldea by nightfall.
Right.
His world turned upside down. He didn't even know Rand. And Rand, in this 6 pages, comes in and just shakes up the Yahtzee cup.
Okay, I have a question.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm trying to remember. Okay, is traveling like going through a Stargate where you see the other side, or
Mhm.
or maybe I'm comparing it to the wrong thing? I
feel like
could have
it's
sworn
Stargate.
there was another form of traveling that he did, maybe in book 5, where there was
There-
like a void in the middle, and he kind of like jumps.
Yeah, it was like skimming, they called it.
That was skimming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And
does
that
he not
was-
skim anymore because this is better? Like this is an
Yeah.
upgrade?
Yeah.
Skimming's a little dangerous. Gateways are just
Yeah.
instantaneous.
Because if someone falls off the edge of the platform while they're skimming, it's like really,
Yeah.
they just fall forever.
They just keep falling. What? Anything in this chapter about Rodell? About anything?
I mean, he mentioned in the beginning how his men would follow him anywhere, and they're like basically saying, "One last battle, one last fight." But then at some point, they're going to realize that nothing good is ever going to come of this. They're going to keep losing more men and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, chapter, but for me, it got kind of weird when the Tavernus took over. Like, I felt like he was being brainwashed, and it was just kind of weird.
Well, let's get to that just a tiny bit. We see Rand. I think this is the first impression that we've had of Rand, like a POV first impression of Rand that we've had in a long time.
It is,
And
yeah.
Rodell is taken by this guy. His eyes, his hard manner. I mean, we hear it from people who know him that he's getting harder and stuff, but this is a general meeting this dude. And we get a first impression of Rand. So, did you take anything away from that, I guess? If not, that's fine.
Can you repeat the question?
I was just wondering if you took anything away from us finally getting a first person like first impression of Rand.
Oh, Rand.
I mean, I think the Tavernus aspect kind of overtook the first impression. It was almost like somebody being drawn, like hypnotized, like he was being hypnotized. Like he saw Rand and he looked in the eyes, and then I'm assuming he looked in his eyes, and then that's from that moment on he was kind of like mesmerized by Rand. So I don't know. I mean, I guess, is this Tavernus or is this something else at play that we don't know about?
I think I'm going to push back on you a little bit. I don't agree. I don't agree that he seems pushed over. Like, if you close read the chapter, you'll see that like he notices Rand's nausea that happens as he channels. I agree that he is taken by Rand, but it's not. I think it is exactly Tavernus, and I think that it's justified. And I think what I took away from this chapter is that, oh shit, like Rand is legitimately the Dragon Reborn, and like this general, one of the 5 great generals. Now this is great general number 3 or 4, 3, who just recognize, like one who's never met him now, who just recognizes his greatness straight off the bat. And that Rand really has become something different than he was. Like, this is the first time we see it affirmed that the person he's become is authentically the thing that he appears to be. And that's what I took away from it.
So Rand shows up in the nick of time to rescue Rodell. Was that a coincidence, or was that?
Well, we couldn't have been more wrong, right? They asked us at the end of last show, like, how long till he goes and talks to Rodell? And I forget. Some of us were like, oh, it's going to be booked. You know, maybe we'll have to buy the last battle. We didn't know it was going to be literally the next chapter. So, I mean, I definitely walked away from the end of this chapter being like, okay, well done. Well played, Dan.
So Rand does get a little piece of army with him. Settles thing, gets rid of. If Rodell was an issue for him, he's like, I need to talk to him myself. He's got to stop this, and he does stop him, and he saves him in the meantime. So,
but how is it that? I mean, there is a lot of assumptions here. Like, how does Rodell know about the steading? How does he know about the taint? How does he know to ask about madness of the male chant? Like, I mean, I get it. Like, people know about these things. And he clearly has 2 rivers to back. He knows how to read maps. Like, we see him with a spyglass in the chapter where they attack. I mean, he's a man of culture. But it's weird that we don't, like, see that many other people who have this quality of selfhood.
Jane Farstrider had a sense of culture from all the traveling.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, and how long ago did he live, right?
Yeah.
We have, so Rodell does mention remembering the Aiel Wars, the Blood Snow 20 years ago.
Yep.
So he has been a soldier for a long time. He is now a general and considered one of the great generals. So I
presumably has access. I mean, I guess if we look at this in the modern context, like, what does a general have access to? Military intelligence, right? So there's probably one might hope, or at least assume, that there's a sense of like information warfare and information that's made available to people of this class and status that may not be readily available to the common person.
Yeah.
Christian Rapper here says everyone knows about the taint. That's why people fear male channelers, and I think that is more common known. Most of the Aiel get rid of them. The Shanshin get rid of them. The Seafood.
Well, I get that people know that male channelers go insane, but do they know it's because of the taint?
Ooh, yeah.
That was the part I was kind of like a little uncertain about. I mean, I get that everyone knows male channelers are bad; they go insane, therefore they have to die.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
People know that that's because the Great Lord put a taint on the OP, you know, the male half of the OP.
Counterstroke.
The counterstroke.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't he mention, you know, getting information, like and also rumors? He talks about rumors, and he talks about getting.
Absolutely. I mean, he clearly there's clearly military intelligence going on here. I know it's an oxymoron, but
maybe he has some type of backstory that we haven't uncovered yet. Like maybe he has a past with some other characters, and
right.
I'm curious to know more about that.
Yet also he didn't even know if he believed the dragon was reborn.
Right.
He heard the rumors and he's like, I don't even know if that's real or not.
Right.
He's a total
here's a random
skeptic.
thought.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a random thought. He kind of reminds me of Matt because Matt is good with military, sound of battles stuff. Wasn't it said that a lot of the prominent, what do you call it? The prominent people in military were the ones who went through the doorways with the
That's what we've kind of assumed based upon what we've read. Yeah.
So is it possible that Rodell went through the doorway and has
no, because it's been if we trust what they said when Rand and Matt came through, it's been thousands of years since
the previous person went
previous
through?
folks had come through regularly, right?
Okay.
That's a good question.
I mean, not a bad question. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Avienda. You guys go with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's chapter 11. It's called The Death of Adrin. Ask your doctor if Adrin works for you. It is like the pattern lace icon, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an Avienda chapter. Avienda is doing meaningless work again. She's like picking up big rocks that she had to go get from a creek. And she's just moving these big rocks from one pile across the whole camp over to like where the wetlanders are, leaving a rock there, picking up a big rock, going back to like where the Aiel are. Here I have a Taishar. I think this one works. Quote, so hard that she couldn't walk.
That works.
I actually have a couple here. All right. So Ryan, you're gonna hate this one because I broke up a word again, but I'm gonna just say it.
Okay.
Quote, perhaps the wetlanders exposed their wee.
Their wee?
Their wee.
It's weakness. No, damn it.
Come on. Those are harder, Ryan, to find. Oh, nuggets within the word. All right.
Well,
the wetlanders exposed their wee. I liked it.
Okay, well, right. Speaking of that, let's end the poll. Apparently, 68% say a one-eyed whack is a Taishar. So
yes!
I'm wrong.
I bet you this chat right now would love exposing their wee. See? Carrie, what do you think?
Oh, I think we need
you
another
gotta be Caesar.
poll.
Thumbs up. Thumbs down.
I voted no. But I want to poll maybe a little bit later in the show. I want to do a poll about what people thought of the Gawain chapter. If they liked it, if they hated it.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, I'm just like frustrated with Gawain, so I'm jumping ahead.
Taishar pushed himself hard. Wait, no. Taishar slipped in her fingers.
Yes.
All right, that's
Uh-huh.
So anyways, Avienda is baffled as usual. She's like, what the fuck? Where is my toe? She passes by a couple of them wetlanders at the manor house. It's a couple guys from Bashir's army. And one guy's like, God, it's fucking hot. He's all pulling at his neck. He's all like he's Rodney Dangerfield with no respect, right? He's and the other guys, I don't know what you're talking about. Avienda just keeps on walking with her big rock. And on her way back, she drops down the rock and she sees this guy just like sweating and has his hands like on his temples. The other guy's like, yeah, all right, Charlie. And this guy just starts peeling off his face, more or less. It says, the man reached up suddenly, scratching at the skin of his temples. His eyes rolled up in his head, and his fingers tore gashes in his flesh. Only instead of blood, the wound spat out a black charcoal-like substance. Avienda could feel the intense heat even from a distance.
Yes.
It says that she wove air and water intending to extinguish the flame, but, quote, this fire somehow resisted them. Fire spread to the house. She's like, she starts throwing dirt at it. She's like, oh, this is what we do in the Three Folds land when there's a fire. We throw sand on it. But guess what? You're in the wetlands, lady, and there's a creek right there. And they're like, buckets, buckets. She's like, buckets? Oh, right, that creek. And she just weaves all this water, splashing it onto the house, splashing it onto the man. She gets help from one of the Ashaman named Nafe. And soon the house is done, but the body is still just smoldering. Quote, Taishar, it was hard and firm. So it was now the man turned into a lump that was the remains of the unfortunate soldier. It was glossy and black like obsidian, and it sparkled wetly.
Sparkled wet.
It later seemed to have been fused into the actual earth itself because it got so hot.
So creepy.
Everyone's flipped out except for Avienda. She's like, yep. Fucking Dark Lord's touch. Some of what's his name? Rodell's officers are like, yowza, this is weird. Rand comes out yelling, his hand to the sky, and he's like, you want to fight me? You ain't got the guts. Why don't you save your power?
Oh my God.
I need it.
You guys, that's the scene from the cover.
Cover. I was waiting to make sure you picked up on it,
I
Carrie.
was just figuring that out.
I was pantomiming it perfectly.
I was like, what the hell does this cover mean? And now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there a black goo spot on that cover? Like, can you see the burnt up man remains?
Yeah, I see the hole in the door, and I was like, He's like looking up the sky with his. Yeah, it makes.
No,
sense
I'm looking like the man, like the black goo that turned to obsidian. Do you see any like black puddle?
I don't.
Okay, that would have been bad.
Is that
it's so
girl
funny.
Avienda?
Oh god, it's so bad.
So bad.
That drawing is so bad that I thought that was his burnt up husk of an arm, and I was like, what are these spoilers doing on the covers?
Actually, Carrie, if you don't mind, just hold up the book and I'll solo lay out you, and we'll let everyone know. There we go. So that is
a little bit of a glare.
There's Avienda. Those I guess are the skirts that all the wise ones wear. There's a white blouse. Those are the soldiers who are like melty, like, hey, my friend melted. And him yelling at the Dark One, shaking his fist angrily at the clouds. Very nice.
Okay,
we wondered what that black doorway was and why it was.
See,
the last time something like this happened was at the storehouse thingy with the Sanchan army in a field somewhere. Where was it Perrin that went up to them when he was trying to negotiate supplies with them? And that's when some guys spewed out like beetles or something. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was a similar incident, right?
It was we've seen 3 incidents like this now.
Matt and the peddler.
The peddler.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Leanne almost get sucked in.
It was when Perrin and the Shanshan Lord went to get the fork root from the warehouse, right?
Yeah.
That was when the beetles happened.
Oh, okay. So, is this a bubble of evil? Is it the Dark One? Or is it just a Forsaken causing chaos in the land? Like, what is causing these incidences?
Seems like bubble of evil to me, but Rand sure thinks that it was a direct attack. I mean, we'd have to go back and look to see if all of these happen after Moradin shows the faces of Matt and Perrin to the Forsaken. I don't know where the timeline for all that sits.
But what benefit would they have attacking like a random soldier? Like, wouldn't they go for like the main crew of the characters?
Yeah,
I mean, like
that's
how
why
is-
it
how do
seems
you think-
unlikely that it's a direct attack. It seems more likely that it's just a bubble of evil. But we've
Yeah.
seen these bubble of evil get very particular about who's like very
Yeah.
localized in a way that one wouldn't expect.
Maybe, yeah. And Randy was even saying like, "Save your powers for me." You know, he kind of assumed it was some sort of like direct.
Or the dark, but presumably he's talking to the dark one, right? Or the Great Lord.
Well, he comes out and yells. It says, "Burn you! I am the one you want. You will have your war soon enough. I will stop you. Do you hear me? I'm coming for you. Don't waste your power. You will need it against me." And Avienna's like, "Rand, chill." What if? Oh my! What if? So are these bubbles of evil similar to what would happen if someone like said Shaitan back in the day? Or what if someone said Shaitan when a bubble of evil is going on? Would it be extra crispy? I don't know.
Extra bubbly, yeah.
So everyone gets cleaned up. Rand like goes back and takes a nap. Avienna's like, "Whoa, that guy's crazy."
Like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, or Beetleface.
Shaitan.
But the way she says it's like, quote, "It was just another of the dark one's touches on the world, like meat spoiling, beetles and rats appearing from nothing, and men dropping dead of strange diseases." She's like, "Shrug. What are you gonna do? It just is what it is." And Aes Sedai comes up.
I guess you can think of it kind of like how when you're at the beach and the waves are coming in, like eventually there's a freak wave, right? Like these are like the freak waves within the sort of low glow of the rotting of the meat and everything else, right? Those are like
yeah. No, I like that. Yeah, the dark. I like that.
And occasionally there's this like kind of collision of frequencies that cause this like big spike, and that's
now, it's tricky because we did have that one those chapters. I don't know what book it was. Perrin had his axe attack him. Matt had the cards.
Right. Where we had
That was
three of them.
book by book
Cross
4,
Swords?
beginning of Shadow Rising.
Shadow Rising?
I think it was
But
beginning
that was-
when they were in
yeah.
Mini
Tyr.
Raymonds in the mirrors
Little
and
cards, the cards attacking Matt at the common
But that
room.
was like synchronized
Yeah.
and timed and very targeted.
right.
Yeah, I've actually really enjoyed historically the metaphor of bubble of evil, or not metaphor. Anyways, because I picture it as just like a miasma or like a swamp, and just like little gas bubbles or something boiling slowly, and like a gravy, like a pasta sauce, like little bubbles that just kind of
Burbling is, I think, the word that you're looking for.
Yeah, so that's the way I've always kind of considered it, as it worked based on that metaphor.
Burbling
I
is
like
a
that.
similar thing, like if you're at Yellowstone and you're like by the mud that's burbling, like it's a similar frequency analysis thing that's happening with the waves, right? Like these are just complex systems where there's lots of different energy being dispelled, and there is this constant like low flow, and then things build up, and there are these radical peaks and troughs that cause freak events, right?
Right, like guys are shooting off like 80 feet and taking out boardwalks and stuff. Yeah, but my only problem with that idea is that bubbles tend to happen like in the same general area. So, but just if you make it more random, and then it works perfectly. Yeah,
That's a good
I
point.
love bubbles.
That's a good point.
And they've been different sizes. There is that one bubble evil we were being reminded of in chat where the weapons started, soldiers' weapons started fighting back, and they took out like half the army.
Right.
Maurice, the Aes Sedai, comes up and she's like,
Another
"Boy, it's a shame that you are not an Aes Sedai, because what you did was fucking rad, girl."
Girl, yeah.
It was a little sloppy. It says, quote, your weaving, it has some roughness to it, but you learn that to fix that quickly if taught by sisters. And then Melane's standing there too. Super badass, super pregnant. And she's like, that Aes Sedai ain't shit. It says, quote, I'm stronger than most Aes Sedai, Avienda, and you're far stronger than I am. You have a control and understanding of weaves that put most of us to shame. Others have to struggle to learn what comes naturally to you. Roughness to your weave, she says. I doubt any of the Aes Sedai, save perhaps Cadsuane Sedai, could have managed what you did with that column of water. Moving water that far requires you to use the river's own flow and pressure. She goes on to say, you have such great talent, child. And Avienda's like,
She urkled him. She goes, did I do that?
She did.
She's not used to being praised, so she's like, dumbfounded. She's like, what? You're saying something nice about me? But it doesn't matter. I'm not an Aes Sedai, and I never want to be. I want to be a wise one. I want to clear my toe and, make myself worthy for Rand.
And I guess, I didn't describe what she did, but it was said, Avienda formed a massive column of air and water, pulling a spout of crystalline liquid from the river and drawing it toward her. The column of water undulated in the air like a creature on Rand's banner, a glassy serpentine dragon that slammed against the flames. Steam hissed outward in an explosion, washing over her. Yes, and by the end, like, most of the river is diverted. Like, there's not much water left because they were just throwing water at this thing. Awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
So apparently it's pretty badass. Maurice is like, yeah, that was really good. And Melane's like, forget really good. That was fucking awesome. She's like, and she instantly goes into asking advice. She's like, well, what do you think of Rand's plan to kidnap the Merchant Council? She's like, well, the IEO could have used better direction, but it's a good plan. She's like, well, and she tries to like dig in. She's like, so yeah, quote, the Carcon can make demands like a wetlanded king. This is my shame. I failed to explain the right ways. Blaine waved a hand. You have no shame there. We all know how bullheaded he is. And she's like, shit, well, that's not the reason. Fuck. Why do they hate me? She's like, all right. She's like, you're super tired. Oh, they talk about the IL afterwards. Avienda's like, I haven't even considered that. But that's a good question. She's like, hey, Avienda, you're super tired. You're all wet and sooty. Why don't you go sleep? But we'll talk about your punishment tomorrow for not having finished this rocks shit. Avienda's like, golly. It ends. There is a Taishar, Ryan. This one is the stretchiest of stretches. So, but I'm standing behind it. Quote, soft feathered death trap.
Wow.
Okay, so there were a few things that we didn't talk about in this chapter. Melaine basically complained to Avienda and basically said, you keep refusing to learn. Like, you're not learning your lesson. And she's like,
what I'm going to bring up too.
What the hell am I doing wrong? Like, I still don't know why I'm being punished. And then she mentioned the phrase, a remnant of a remnant. Haven't we heard that before? Was that in the Shadow Rising?
It comes from Ruidian.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Okay, so we did hear that expression before. What would become of the Aiel after Rand was done using them? That's the kind of the question that she was asking.
I think the total thing was something like the Carcon will break the Aiel in order to save them, and what will remain is a remnant of a remnant, or something along those lines. But I think it was a prophecy, maybe.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
What a little bit. I loved reading this bit about like do the ice eels stay in the wetlander lands?
Mhm.
And if so, maybe the remnant of the remnant that they're referring to is the few Aiel that fled back from the evil from Savannah's group.
The Brotherless
The tribe
or the
where-
Shido?
The Shido.
Here's something that let's dig a tiny bit more into this. Her thoughts about Rand, I think, are pretty spot on.
Uh-huh.
It says, did Rand al'Thor know how hard the Wise Ones worked behind his back to maintain Aiel loyalty? Probably not. He saw them all as one homogenous group sworn to him to be used. That was one of Rand's greatest weaknesses. He could not see that Aiel, like other people, did not like being used as tools. The clans were far less tightly knit than he believed. Blood feuds had been put aside for him. Couldn't he understand how incredible that was? Couldn't he see how tenuous that alliance continued to be? And it is right. He does see them as an autonomous group. It's his Aiel, and it's maidens, whatever. He talks to Rourke. He doesn't really, I don't see him really understanding clan dynamics at all as far as this goes.
Yeah.
And nor does he really have time, maybe.
Hey, Brother Dan, I'm going to take that slight pause and let's bring in our special guest.
Look, the leaves are moving, guys.
Right, this
Check out
music
those
sounds like a
leaves.
bubble of evil. Little known fact that
It's all
Just-
almond Trump.
Yeah, it's almond by Perrin Trump.
Aaron Trump.
Perrin Trump. That's from last time. Guys. We're gonna do a new drawing.
Trump Ibarra. Just for everyone's fun knowledge,
Can we call him Perrin? No, go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
Unraveling the Pattern made those animations, those moving leaves. He based it off of our logo design.
Logo. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lauren's the best. He did that probably 4 years ago.
I've
I've always loved that intro animation.
Perrin Lago. Mar-a-Lago. Perrin. Fuck, never mind. It's hard to workshop on
Make Manethering great again is where it's at.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And a wolf's head flag would fit in
Perfectly.
Right. Yeah. No one would blink an eye.
So
What are
I
you
mean,
talking about? What am I drawing right now?
the thing I
Wait.
walked away from with this, the thing I walked away from this chapter with is doubling down on the fact that what Avienda isn't learning fast enough is that she has to stand up to the wise ones, that she is already a wise one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's clear that that's the only thing that's holding her back at this point. That the punishments are purely for her not owning her own wise oneness at this point.
Mhm.
And once she does, that she'll just have the respect of them and she'll be one of them.
All right. Well, let's. So, if this is true, what do you think of this method?
I think it's stupid, like a lot of the fucking ways of teaching in these books.
Yeah.
Every fucking group of people who teaches fucking sucks.
It's just like us, yeah.
They fucking
The worst
suck.
teachers.
They're the
Maybe.
worst.
Maybe they're spending too much money on warmongering.
That's
Maybe.
so funny.
Between the White Tower, the wise ones, like just God, they're the worst.
All right, Joe, the next chapter is going to be Egwene in the tower. She meets with 4 sitters
Cabal.
secretly, but if you just want to draw her getting spanked, that's fine too.
If you want to draw the guy melting and turning into goo, that won't.
Oh, is that
Firewall.
happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. People really there was a lot of requests for you to draw Mangu.
Yeah, there's
Oh, Mango. All right.
wasn't Joe supposed to be drawing Mangu?
Yeah,
And you?
And yeah,
I draw that
But
all
you-
the time.
but
yeah, we get complaints sometimes when you draw Mangu.
you finger paint it.
Yeah, you guys have told me to hold back.
Telugu.
I know we're trying to. I was trying to avoid that, but dealer's choice, bro. Dealer's choice.
Okay.
Guys, I'll be right back.
Hey, you can't rush art.
So is Min there with Rand right now?
I think she is.
That's a good
surprised.
question. This chapter ends with Avienda
Thinking about
considering
going
just
and sleeping
sneaking
with
up
Rand.
and
Uh-huh.
getting her little bone on. Yeah, it says a thought of Rand al'Thor resting in his room. She could go to him. No, not until she had her honor back. So I gotta assume that Min was not in that manner. Wouldn't she have come out with Rand?
Presumably.
But where would she be?
Maybe she's playing a Game of Stones with someone. I don't know.
All right, so Penny, you know what? It's metaphorical, man. Yeah, she's eating. I understand. Oh, yeah. Thank you. So we got. Let's jump to anything else besides Avienda. She has her thing. There was a bubble of evil.
Just a quick thought. At the beginning of the chapter, she mentioned how she was observing the maidens hand talk and how she was kind of discreetly spying on what they're talking about because she still understood that because she used to be a maiden and they don't realize that she's listening in because she's kind of like in the shadows of being like a servant type
Mm-hmm.
when she's being punished, you know? So
Well, she's no longer
being an
part of.
apprentice.
She's no longer a maiden. Like
Yeah.
she's just no longer a maiden, so she can't even pretend that she knows their language, I guess. And the maidens were talking shit about Rand. They're like, and the issue is Rand went to go talk to Rodell Ilaralde by himself without bringing at least 50 IO with him, as is honor bound to do. He does look pretty happy.
He looks very happy.
Wipe that grin off your face, son. And so he
supposed to be drawing?
and that's something that Mulaney even brings up to Avienda. She's like, so what should we do about Rand? And she's like, we should probably kick his ass. He's like, well, no, that doesn't work. We already kicked his ass. He took it like a man, not like a baby. Like that was her thing. She's like, well, he takes it like a man, not like a baby. So now what? So anything else on chapter 11?
I think we covered all the highlights.
Okay.
Did anyone find it interesting how someone's like, oh, is someone channeling? And she goes, no, it's much worse. How did she know that from a distance? Did anyone pick up on that?
Say again,
Who
right?
said that? Like,
I'm sorry. So Avienda was when before, like right when the shit hit the fan,
Right.
someone said, "Oh, is there channeling? Is there?" And then she goes, "No, it's something much worse." I just wondered if anyone had any thoughts
I
on how
missed
she
that.
knew that.
Yeah, it says, someone says they think that it's an attack. And he's like, no, it's not an attack. It's just bubble of evil. Much worse.
Something far more evil, she says. She just knows it's a bubble of evil. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, she said a few. Right? So let me ask you, are these things happening in every village of every town, or is it more pronounced where one of our main characters are?
I'm gonna go with the second option. I think it's Tavernus is drawing in more bubbles of evil around the core group.
I'm going to go with
So
plot armor makes it such that we cannot answer that question in an educated.
But we assume that people are seeing dead people.
Yes.
We assume that's
food. We know food is rotting faster everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Do we assume that peddlers are falling into the street every now and again without us seeing?
I think Carrie's right in the sense of we only see what happens around our characters as part of the narrative. Therefore, it's hard to know and otherwise. But we do see bigger events happen closer to the Tavern, going all the way back to book 3, right? With the marriages and the people falling weirdly and breaking their neck, and people falling out of windows and not breaking their neck.
But those weren't really bubbles of evil per se. But we did see the targeted attack. So yeah.
I don't know how different it is. What if Tavernus and bubbles of evil are basically the same thing? What is that Tavern effect if not a bubble of pattern happening? Maybe a bubble of evil is just a bit of the pattern unfurling, right? Can you have a positive bubble of evil?
Well, it's poorly named and should work on its marketing if there are.
There is, absolutely, yeah.
Was the first bubble of evil when Rand was training with Lan, and the wind almost pushed?
I don't know. We always
Lan's
wondered
sword?
that too.
Also,
Ryan.
Joe right now is here at your pleasure, Carrie and Josh. Whatever you suggest for Joe, he is going to drive.
I mean, I suggested something, but I don't know how difficult it's going to be. Egwene meeting the Aes Sedai in the storeroom later in this chapter.
So G-rated, Carrie. Come on.
They're all sitting on boxes.
Well, let me remember what else happened in this chapter. It's been a while. Let's see.
That chapter is lame, but the Gowan chapter has so many good things to draw.
On Gowan.
Oh my gosh. Killing Hamar, remember all that?
Yeah. Gawain fights with 2 warders.
Gowan fighting the warders.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, so let's jump to say RIP to our poor melted disc of a man named Adrin. We shall now go to chapter 12, which is called Unexpected Encounters. It's an Egwene point of view, and it has the
Hey Dan, should we call him instead of Adrin? Is he add out? Add route?
No, he's Subtractrin.
So now I'm trying to remember, where the hell did we see this chapter icon before? I know it's been in the previous books. Don't remember.
It has. We have seen it specifically. And I'm not going to say anything else about it, but
that's fine.
I think we have theories about it. Anyways, Egwene is in the tower as she's walking the halls of the White Tower, just walking with her 2 Red Sister minders. It says it had been well over a month since one had covered her had conveyed her disturbing news in Tel'aran'rhiod about Rand, about everything. That meeting we saw, that was a month ago. And she ends up thinking about Gawain. I do have a Taishar. Halima had touched Egwene.
Interesting.
Is that open-ended or is there more to that?
Touched is italicized.
Oh, okay. Then, Dan, did you just try it yourself? You're not allowed to do that, Dan.
Taishar. She's on her way to the Brown Aja. She got a note from Bene. Now sad. So she's off to go see Bene. And Bene was one of the first persons she talked to. She talked to her about the 13th Depository. And Bene kind of has her do a couple stupid little weaves. Egwene kills it, of course.
Wait, first talk about what her room looks like. She has a lot of skeletons of
Mhm.
animals, and she has like a big book or a lot of books. I mean,
Lot of-
this is typical of a Brown, right? Like who loves to study and
Yeah.
seeks
Mhm.
knowledge.
I mean, we
All the
saw
bones are labeled.
Varen's room looked very similar.
Hmm.
Yeah, this woman doesn't have an owl that we see, but maybe she has one somewhere. Baron had an owl. Yeah, her room is awesome. Her room is cluttered. It's all hell. She has to move stuff to just sit on a stool.
I love how the detailed descriptions we get of both of the Aes Sedai rooms in this chapter.
Yeah.
Yes. This
We
one
get
is
one of,
like Indiana Jones paleontology, and the other one is
World traveler come
Mhm.
gift recipient.
Plant loving.
So what jumped into my head were these catalogs that used to
Oh, you're
come
right.
out.
It's three rooms we get, right, Carrie? Because there's the
The
living
the
garden
plant-
room, the
Yeah.
brown, and then the gray.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I think it was like Trader Vic or something.
Trader Vic. Yeah.
Was that like a catalog of like, and it like had these weird stories of like Vic went over to the Barbados and got this chest. We created it. It's $1,800. Like this. I worked in the mailroom and they used to get these catalogs and I used to look at them. They were pretty fun. But that's, anyways, that they would have pictures.
Was
of
not
like
working in the
these-
mailroom. I know what they're talking about.
that looked like these safari huts, kind of thing. And that's kind of what I pictured. What's her name? The sitter who had all those, or the gray rather, Mediane or Medani. Her room that had all the tokens, all the trophies, all the hey, you did great. Here's this. I don't know. It kind of reminded me of like a like someone who went like on a safari, like in the 1800s when they would bring like trunks and trunks of shit, collect all their stuff, shoot elephant, wear big skirts and stuff. Anyways, so yeah, Egwene is at the Brown. She does her thing and kind of gets a interview. She's like, hey, so well, hypothetically, suppose
this is
someone
funny.
got busted.
Hypothetically speaking, I have a friend, and that friend knew too much information about something and got in trouble. What would happen to that person? And it was just so funny.
Her advice is, quote, if she simply accepts the way people treat her, then it won't be long before they assume she deserves the position they placed her in. In regards to Bene being forced to just like do junk work, like being pushed into the thing. She's like, you should probably just convince them that, yeah, I know the secret. I haven't told anyone. You should fill me in, and that's how it should go. It says, quote, wait, where is it? If the best one, competence. Obviously, some people among the Ajah know these secrets. Well, if this sister were to prove her trustworthiness and her capabilities, perhaps the leaders of the Ajah would realize the best place for her is one of the caretakers of the secrets. An easy solution. And Bene is like, fucking A. You're so right. Bene. And then she leaves and she's like, oh, yeah, no, you need to go to Nagora, the white sister. She goes to Nagora. Nagora has all like the basil and thyme. She has all like the coolest herb guide.
I thought she was a yellow sister.
It says here, a novice waiting with a message instructing her to attend Nagora, a white sister.
Oh,
So time before meeting with Maldani, so she went. Yeah. It says, yes, Egwene gave what she could, which Nagara declared to be logic without flaw. Oh, and then she goes to the yellow, and that's the one that has all the herbs. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was the Suwana. It's like Sauna, but
many
you
S
switch
names.
the U and the A. Yeah. Suwana. And she is a sitter. And she's like, oh, this is the first time I'm talking to a sitter. Awesome. Suana's like, hey, you should probably join the Yellow. You're pretty awesome. She's like, you know what? The Averland has no Aja. Boom.
Boom, bitch.
No, she was bold. She asked a question to this.
Go on.
She asked a question to this sitter, and she was basically saying, well, have the sitters discussed how to deal with the tensions among the Ajas? Like, what are you guys doing to fix this?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she has a lot of balls. I mean, she's been there a couple months now, I think, so...
And Suana's answer is just a shrug. She's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just bad, huh? But Egwin says, these aren't your enemies, Suana. Maybe some of the sitters should be having some dinner together to show some camaraderie, show some companionship. It starts from the top. Suana's like, yeah, probably a good idea. And then she goes and sees Madani. Madani is the one who was with Elida when Egwin spilled the soup all over.
Okay, before... I don't know if this was before or after she met with Madani, but I have a note here that she had 3 meetings today and didn't receive a single punishment. They were coming to accept her, and she even called them by their first name and didn't say Sadai afterwards. So it's just like to me, it's a turning point.
For sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
She's like, wow, I didn't get busted once in these 3 hours. Rare. Can you imagine having a meeting and knowing, yeah, I'm probably going to get my ass beat for this. But here I go. Oh, I got another meeting. I'm probably going to get my ass beat for this. Blah. Blah. I hate it.
Yeah, no, she's persevering for sure. And chat's calling her a badass, and we all agree.
Yeah. Madani's quarters is the one that is, quote, a museum dedicated to one person's journeys. Has all kinds of things in the label where she got it and why she did. She went around helping a lot of disputes, apparently, and got thank you gifts. The way that they're labeled, I'm sure that she put it on her ethics report. There is no congressional issue with her. She didn't take gifts that she didn't report. Look at the label and the receipt still on. Egwin is like,
she was
hey,
very snotty. Yeah, she's very snotty with Egwene when they first meet.
Took you long enough. And she's like, well, yeah, I didn't want you to get people to get suspicious. She's like, I don't care how you regard me, if you believe me or not. She's like, well, you're captured and overthrown. She's like, well, I've been captured. True. Madani's like, well, you've been. And again, Brandon picked up Robert Jordan's very bad habit. Quote, a puppet to be manipulated. That is a Taishar because Hubba said the puppet. But also, come on. Get better. Do your best. She pretty much says, all right, Madani, I'm the Avalanche. Right. She's like, right, fine. I agree. We need to fix the damage Elida's done. And Egwin's like, all right, listen. We need to go. She's like, all right, here's the thing. Why didn't you run? Why didn't you just split? Elida knows you're a spy. And she says, I cannot say. She keeps shaking her head. I cannot say.
Cannot say.
She's like, I'm ordering you to. And she's like, I cannot say. And she's like, oh, this has something to do with the 3 O's. Okay, let's try to work around this. Can you show me? And she's like, I can take... yeah, I think I can show you. Yep. I think the oath is going to let me show you. She's like, fine, let's do it. But the reds are everywhere. Egwin's like, all right, I'm going to show you something. Don't tell anyone. This is a gateway. We're going to just hop. They go into a deeper part of the thing. but they go deep, 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 deep. And they meet into a room where there's a warder guarding the door. They go inside, and there are 4 sitters of their Ajas there. One is Cyan from the white. We have Docene of the yellow. We have Yukiri of the gray, and we have Saren from the brown. You're like, what the fuck? How, your oath shouldn't. Everyone's like, what oath? You jerks. What are you doing? They're like, well, I don't even want to talk to you. You're dumb. She's like, you're dumb. Tell me what you did with the oath. So, apparently, there was an oath, but and we heard about this, right? Didn't we hear?
We were there when it happened, yeah.
And it says we cannot have dark friends among the Aes Sedai, and measures had to be taken to search them out. But Egwene calls them on it for like being oath bullies.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, I was gonna ask a question, but I just answered it in my head. I was gonna say, where the hell is Pravara? But then I remembered, oh yeah, she's over in the Black Tower trying to bond Ashaman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She should have been with this group of people.
Having the time of her life.
yeah, it says we can have Madani order you to penance. It's like she wouldn't do such a thing. She accepts my authority as Amerlin. That's meaningless. We just order her to send you to penance. And Egwene's like, I thought that you told me that the 4th oath was meant to restore unity, to keep from fleeing to Elida with your secrets. Now you would use that oath like a cudgel, forcing her to become your tool. Everyone's like, I don't like a mirror being put in my face of my actions. She pretty much is like saying, I'm the Amerlin. Just because I can't channel doesn't matter, because I'm not a bully. I'm just authority. And she says that, by the way, Elida wasn't even legitimately raised. Swan was deposed with the bare number of sitters, and one of them, at least one of them, was under the influence of the Black Hodge. Therefore, nil and void, you stilled a legitimate Amerlin. So take that. Take that. They're like,
this part was awesome. I love the interactions.
She's like, Egwene's like stands up. She's like, all right, Madani, I need you to keep working with these women. You're doing great. In fact, you're very brave to hang out with Elida. I hope you get to 3rd base next time you see her.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, you take off that 4th oath off Madani. And they're like, we'll consider it. But she's like, well, I'm going to have to tell the Hall once I become Amerlin, and you will have to answer for your actions. And then they leave. She's like, I can't believe you succeeded. And then she goes, you really are the Amerlin. You are great. Like Willow. Egwene thinks it's an odd comment. Hadn't she just sworn that she accepted Egwene's authority? And Egwene's like, no, I gotta go. I gotta go get my butt beat.
Now, doesn't that reek of Taverin?
It does.
Just to poke Josh's belly button.
Well, we also have the last time we had Elaine or an Egwene chapter, Leanne got sucked into melting stone.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a bubble of evil, which either it happens everywhere or it only happens around Taverin.
No, but more specifically, like, she accepted her authority before she, in her mind's eye, believed it, and then only after those events in that dark room did she's like, wow, Jesus, you are the Amerlin. She's like, well, why would you accept my authority? Which kind of goes to Josh's argument.
Yeah. And at first it was like, well, because you don't like Elida, right? I'm at least better than her. So she was like Egwene was the Joe Biden candidate, and then she became the Kamala candidate, which is like, oh no, I really will vote for you, actually.
Hey,
I changed my mind. I will.
It's like when Trump said, "Hey, African American voters, vote for me. What do you got to lose?
What do you got to lose?
What do you got to lose?"
You got to have your head examined if you don't. All right. Anything else in chapter 12, Carrie? Before we get to the coolest chapter.
I will say this was my favorite chapter of the group. I say this over and over again. Anything that takes place in the tower, I just love the dynamics between the sisters and the Aes Sedai. So this is my favorite chapter for this week.
Mine too.
I hope, Joe, you're giving Gawain kind of a bulge.
I don't know how I feel about his face though. It looks a little off.
I ain't looking at the face, darling. All right, let's jump to chapter 13, our final chapter for this evening. It is called An Offer and a Departure. Not an officer and a gentleman, an offer and a departure. And it has a heron marked blade as its icon. It is Gawain. Gawain is in a barn fighting.
Can we get a cleanse really quick?
A cleanse.
A Bella cleanse.
Yeah, right. Give a Bella cleanse. Why? Yeah. Do
Thank you. I had to get my spirits up if we're about to talk about Gawain.
There's so much editing involved in that one. It took like 3 hours, but because I suck at that. But it was funny.
No, I'm glad you played that one because that was the one I wanted.
Oh, good. You can always say which one you want. You're good. You're not like the chat. They can't demand.
Gawain is in a barn fighting two skilled men. One named Sleep. He's limber, long armed. That's me. Got long arms.
Oh, I thought you had some weird nickname from your past. That coincides.
Yeah, me too. Double D long arms.
No, second.
No, they actually, I used to go on the monkey bars a bit, and they used to call me a monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for bringing up such triggering thoughts.
Yeah, Dan could dunk the ball, but he had like a 3-inch vertical. He's all arms.
I'm all appendage, right?
Just his feet barely hopping off the ground.
Funk.
Slam.
Yeah, I don't need a manicure because my nails touch the ground. So Sleet and Marlish are fighting, and 2-on-1, 2v1, and we get some cool sword forms, guys. I want to ask. I'm going to list them, and I want you to rank them. Okay. All right. Are you ready for this, Josh, Carey?
As much as I ever will be.
The viper flicks its tongue. Cat dances on the wall. Leopards caress. Folding the air. Cat on hot sand. Hummingbird kisses the honey rose. Apple blossoms in the wind. And shake dew from the branch.
It's my favorite.
Which is your favorite? Shake dew from the branch?
It's by far.
Yeah.
For me, it's the honey blossom one.
Hey, back in the war, I was with this one hippie chick, right? For about 2 weeks, I was shaking dew from the branch.
I mean, someone once made me a koozie for my drinks at JordanCon that said "Shake Dew from the Branch."
Okay.
That's amazing.
Legendary. I love that.
Carrie, did you have a favorite out of those?
What was the one that you said? Folding air.
Yeah, it is folding the air.
Folding the air. I'll pick that one.
What about you, my friend Josh?
Something honeydew.
Hummingbird kisses the honey rose.
Yeah, I like that one.
See, that sounds like that reminds me of a seal song. The hummingbird kisses the honey rose.
Well, I have to tell you,
No, I thought you were
I've
like,
never listened to Seal.
Baby!
And I don't know.
I was
a
gonna say, are we at the acapella some Batman?
Baby!
Apparently,
I like Leopard's
25.
Caress. Leopard's Caress sounds sexy and dangerous. But Viper Flicks His Tongue is almost a Ty
I like
Shar
that one
moment.
too.
Yeah.
I like that one too.
I do have a Ty Shar, though. It says, quote, "It was warm, which felt good." All right. Galwin beats them. They're both shocked. Sleet is a Heron Mark Blade owner. He is a sword master. And they tell Galwin, they're like, hey, you really got to get yourself a Heron Mark Blade. It says, quote, no one should have to face you without knowing what they're getting into.
Right.
He's like, I'm not a blade master. They're like, you killed Hamar, didn't you? He's like, well, yeah. It's like, well, you should have took a sword because he was a blade master. It's like, well, I didn't have time for trophies. Badass. God, what a badass line.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Joe, what are you using to draw? Real quick, Chronic Viking wants to know, what are you using to draw? What's your pad? What's your pad, bro? What's your pad?
It's an ancient Wacom tablet that I use when I'm on your show because typically I draw on an iPad these days. But
okay,
I'm doing this. Yeah,
an ancient Wacom tablet.
Wacom.
Wacom.
Wacom. Is it the Fozzie Bear of tablets?
Yeah, it's the Wacom.
My son is dressing as Fozzie Bear for Halloween. They're all.
Oh, that's
dressing as
awesome.
Muppets. He's Fozzie. So he kicks their ass, is about to leave. And what's his name? Sleep reaches out before he goes. He's like, hey, so my lady only has one warder, and that's me. And she said she wouldn't take another until I judged him worthy. I've searched for 20 odd years looking for the man.
I think it's 10, but
yes,
over 10 years. I'm saying 20 odd. It says,
I guess that's technically over 10, but yeah.
It's been 120 years.
It's been a
finally
long.
found someone worthy. She'll bond you this hour. He's like, yeah, no, that's gross. If anyone's bonding me, it's my lady friend.
No, it's my sister.
Well, but he also says, if anyone's going to bond him, it's going to be Egwin.
I thought you said Elaine, but okay.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't want. It says he knew that he would not be happy as her warder or anyone's warder save Egwin's. He'd promise Egwin anything so long as it didn't hurt Andor or Elaine. So yeah, he is saving himself, and he mentions it twice in here that he's like, no. It says, I came to the White Tower to study because of Andor tradition, not because I was going to be a warder. My place is beside my sister. And in italics in his thoughts, he says, and if anyone is going to bond me, it will be Egwin. So it's like, hey, you came for these reasons, but man, that was a long time ago. Reasons change, and now you're with us. Just hang, bro.
He still wants a threesome.
Like, just hang. You're so hot. You're so fucking hot.
Oh, it is sexual.
It's so hot. He's like, Tori will like,
and it's not just because your sword forms; it's the bulge in your pants.
And he's emphasizing with pride that his Aes Sedai is like not taken seriously and does not have any responsibility and is not a very strong one. He's like, she's cool. She doesn't get involved in all this shit. In fact, everyone avoids her and like ignores her. It's rad. We can do whatever we want. We can even just hang out in Andor with you. It's cool. Just have sex with us. He's like, fine, I'll think on it. And then he asks about, hey, what's going on? He's like, this is bullshit. The tower shouldn't fight, but that Hamar would have killed you. And so it's a good thing that you killed him. It's how it works. It says, quote, nobody made any good decisions that day. There weren't any good decisions to be made. And Gawain thanks him. Sleet's like, hey, I'm out. He leaves, and then Gawain passes by the mayor's house. That's where all the ladies are. And he sneaks in and takes over guard. He hears that there's like these Aes Sedai in the top room. They're having a meeting. He's like, this should involve me. They're like, yeah, probably should. Get the fuck out. And he's like, all right. So he waits downstairs. But he hears about a amulet that the rebels have. This Alvira girl. And he's like, wait, what? It was, quote, captured and made to howl half the day. I wouldn't want to be that Alvira girl right now. Of course, it's no less than she deserves for getting put the amulet shawl on her shoulders. And Gawain's like, what? I was just beating up 2 warders. Now I gotta hear this. He hears that, yes, it is Egwene. She is captured. He hears about traveling. He's like, oh shit, traveling. Fuck. And is questioning his loyalty because he chose Elida, but more and more he seems like this isn't the best path for him based on how Egwene and Elaine are on the opposite team. I do have a Taishiar here. Oh, go ahead.
And I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so geographically, where is Gawain right now? He's in some village somewhere, but he's near Gareth Bryn's army, kind of, sort of. Is he like on the other side of the White Tower, kind of like just hanging out? Like, where the hell is he?
He's not at the White Tower.
He's outside of the White Tower. Yes, he's I don't know exactly where he is actually.
It said Dorlan. Dorlan. Where the hell is Dorlan?
He's close by. I think isn't he in like a town over one of the bridges?
Are we
is he
Googling
like
that?
next to the White Tower but not in the tower? That's what I'm trying to like visualize.
I think you're right.
To my recollection, he's nearby, but he's not like on the island. He's like over one of the bridges, like near one of the towns that's like at the foot of a bridge on the other side of the river, kind of thing. If I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
Still kind of like hiding out.
So you're saying he's down by the river. All right, so Noman Garden is translating for you. Where is Gawain and how far can we get from there?
Jesus, you guys. Quote, is this Taishard? This is a stretch. Quote, advanced swordplay techniques.
Sure.
It's in swordplay.
It's good.
All right. And so, Carrie, what do you want the poll to ask? You want people's opinions on Gawain?
I want to know what they thought of this chapter. So, did they love it? Did they like it? Did they hate it? Like, what did they think of this chapter?
Well, what he's let me finish as they're thinking about it. What he is thinking about is like, oh shit, Egwene has been set up by these rebel Aes Sedai. She is not even an Aes Sedai at all. She is just an accepted. What is she, they're telling her's the Amerlin? Oh, she's gonna get executed for sure. And still, it says, quote, Egwene was being tortured. She would be still. She probably had been already. After that, she would be executed. And he's like, I gotta go. I gotta go to her. So he lies. He's saying, yeah, I'm gonna go check out that outpost, the 4th outpost at night through eel-infested waters. And don't anyone come with me because it's a sneak attack. I'm an undercover boss now. But when he leaves, he sees Sleet. And Sleet's like, when am I going to tell him you're not coming back? And Gawain's like, fuck, am I going to have to kill this motherfucker too? Golly. He's like,
Maybe.
you could stop me. He's like, I can't stop you. You beat me every time today. I'm not even trying. It's like, just ride safe now.
Okay,
and he says, oh, go ahead.
do you have a copy of the Parvalan map, the city, by any chance?
Tarvalon, the city. I
vagina map?
I mean, any health book does.
I had to get my parents' signature, like permission, to learn about Tarvalon in 6th grade. Ryan, are you doing stuff?
I think I figured out where it is on the map. So it's referenced on the map on the east. So that's where he is.
Danny, did you want me to tell you what the poll says?
Darlin is not on the Tarvalon map. If that's what you're asking for.
I thought it was.
No garden. Yeah, what's the poll?
It says, how much do you love Gawain? More than my own mother, more than anything in the world, more than Joe's drawings.
Okay. 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 I hope no one loves Gawain more than Joe's drawings. I'll say that right now. I love Gawain, but they better not love Gawain more than Joe's drawings.
Oh my goodness.
This is a
Good
furious.
answer,
Yeah, the
Good
poll's
answer,
hot and
It's a
hot and
close
hot.
one.
The close one.
So yeah, he leaves sleep behind. He rides out at night off to, we assume, Egwin, but Egwin is captured in the tower and does not want to be freed.
Rescued. This is another case of like running to the damsel in distress who doesn't want to be rescued.
Who does
Yeah.
that in those books? Josh?
Oh no, that's never happened in the Wheel of Time.
It's never. What are you
Never.
talking about?
Of course.
I don't even
Look
know why
how
you brought
sexy
it
he is.
up. It's so
Look
weird that you brought it up.
Sexy that man in that drawing is.
Okay, at the end of this, I have a question. It says there was only one place he could think of to go to for help in rescuing Egwene. So where is he going? Do we know? Do we have any ideas?
We're not sure. I was wondering that too. It's a very good question.
Yeah. Like who?
What are your thoughts?
I mean, would he go to the rebel Aes Sedai? Because
A good guess.
he knows they're in contact with her somehow. Like who are his allies? I don't even know Gawain that much, other than that he's a douchebag. So
White Cloaks?
Whoa.
would he get his brother to
Douchebags
help?
are a hygienic product?
Come on, man.
He'll take that as a compliment.
Hey, remember when Matt beat them up and one brother paid his money? That was Gawain.
Yeah.
And he said, "You beat my ass. You're really awesome, farmer." Well, I don't understand Gawain.
I have a question for you guys. It's around that time, Dan. My theory is that because they took a little while to get to him to heal him, and he got his head cracked open, and that's when Gawain starts acting like a crazy person. Do you think a little bit of his brains leaked out? And like when they put him back together again, he wasn't all there? Because he's crazy from that point on.
Who?
When Gawain gets his head cracked open from Matt, and they took him
And they don't
run over there right away. He's like on the ground for a while.
Right.
I mean, think of a big stick swinging super fast.
My theory is
hitting you
that
right in the
that's
temple.
the moment he goes crazy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Huh.
Just food for thought.
CTE?
Yeah.
We're going to have to check his brain when he dies. See if it's weird.
Yeah, is there anything? Is there a little bit missing? You know?
Where's that lobe? Yeah,
I'm imagining
there's
it's
only one
unhealable.
So yeah, there's only one place he could think to go to help in rescuing Egwene with the kick of its heels. He takes off. We don't have any thoughts. Maybe the rebel Aes Sedai? You think? Could he be going towards Shanchen soldiers or Rand?
He doesn't
Or
trust Rand.
The
We know
band? Is the band anywhere nearby? But why would he even go there? Yeah. What?
Maybe. Oh, what about Gareth
White-
Bryn? Would he
White
go with
cloaks.
him?
Gareth Bryn. Oh, okay, Gareth Bryn. That's a good
Yeah.
guess. That would be the Rebel Aes
So I
Sedai.
mean, like, yeah. So he's heading towards the Rebel Aes Sedai, and he's gonna make a deal with Gareth Bryn.
Wait, does he know
That would be
Gareth Bryn's
my
with it?
prediction.
Does he know Gareth Bryn's with the Rebel Aes Sedai?
Well, he
He knows
mentioned
that Gareth
that
Bryn
Yeah.
is hunting him and his soldiers. right?
nearby. Yeah, his soldiers.
Yeah,
are
they
nearby.
haven't been doing raids in the last few weeks because Gareth Bryn's getting too close. All right. Is there anything else on this or any of the chapters that I missed that you wanted to talk about?
Well, before we go, the true poll is up. Okay, that one was the first one was a joke. It says, how do we feel about Gawain and this chapter? For A, love it. He's so gallant. B, take it or leave it. C, the sooner he dies, the better.
Oh man, I know it's gonna win, and you guys are so dumb.
Are you a Gawain lover, Dan?
I'm so pro Gowan.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm just. I mean,
Oh
just
my
out of
gosh.
curiosity. I don't think I've ever really talked to you guys about that.
Why would we?
Yeah, there's nothing he's done wrong. He's been
Your
put in some difficult
fear of
situations.
discrimination.
At 3 a.m. at WatCon, we certainly should have had a Gawain.
Oh yeah,
talk.
yeah. Next year, buddy. In fact,
think
I
you
was
know
on
what
a
my answer
panel.
is.
I was on a panel that was defending Gawain. The panel was, "Is Gawain the worst character in the Wheel of Time? Yes or no?" And
Yes.
I was on a trial defending him as not being the worst character. I'm like, guys, there's so many bad characters in this.
I mean, there's way worse than him,
Way worse.
but he's up there.
Way worse. Everyone, yeah, no way. No way. All right. Well, next week we will be doing 4
Nope.
chapters.
Nope.
No, not
Nope.
next week.
The following week.
After the world blows up.
Yeah, no. If America is still the same in 2 weeks, we'll do 4 more chapters.
Apparently, if one of the candidates wins, it's going to turn into just a garbage town, right?
You guys don't want to do a live show in the middle of votes being counted?
We might on Discord, but not on YouTube.
we might open the
So-
sweat tent.
The chapters
sweat.
14, 15, 16,
And 17. It's 57 pages in my book. So it's on the lighter side. Just
I
barely.
mean, if people like Gawain have their way, then you won't have a show, I think, is what Ryan said.
That's right.
No, are you kidding me? Gawain, if Gawain was 50 years old, he would look and sound just like Tim Waltz.
Tim Waltz?
What?
Yeah.
Disagree completely.
Well, you
Gawain's a
guys are
proud boy.
weird. All right. Guys, go out and vote. And please, in our Discord, post your vote stickers. Be proud of participating and share it with us. And we will give heart emoji or like a check mark. We'll react. There will be reactions.
Oh Jesus! All right, a little Dominican Republican flags. All right, the poll is ended. Dan, you're going to be surprised. It is a tie. 41% love it or take it or leave it. Only 17% says the sooner he dies, the better. And I know that Carrie was one of those.
Yep.
votes.
Wow. Well, chat, as always, I'm impressed by just your
Reticence
skill.
to throw Gowan under the bus.
No, they elevated him for me. Otherwise, my Halloween costume would not make sense to anyone. I'm going.
You're going.
Yeah, I'm
You're going.
Just so perfect and
Gowan
everything.
is Gowan.
Oh, here's a good question. Are we, okay? No, never mind. Yeah, we're gonna get Galvin in the show, right? You think we'll get Galvin and Galad in the show?
Yeah.
And will Rafe's boyfriend be one of them? He'll just play 2
Don't pay
parts.
attention to the fact that he played another character. He's
Yeah.
just someone else.
If his boyfriend is Gawain, I won't like Gawain as much anymore, right? It'll diminish it just a little.
Just a tad.
Just a touch.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone, what a great show. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Josh.
There's emojis.
I don't even know how to do that. Thank you, Chronic Viking. Hurry up and catch up. He's on chapter 17 of book 1. he's
Keep going.
Read faster.
The sooner you catch up, we'll get you on the show. It'll be great. Everyone else, you know how we roll. Run for your lives. This is the way they leave.